Hello, my name is Harry, founder of Sound of Universal Light, S.O.U.L. Now, I felt inclined to make a video based on my recent learning of the 7 Hermetic Principles written by the 3 initiates. The book is called the Kybalion. So recently I came across this book and this work, and it's been a very powerful, enlightening piece of knowledge and information. So I decided to delve into it a bit further, and I'm really fascinated by the principles and the teachings. So the 3 initiates are a mysterious group of people who wrote the book in 1908, but they compiled the information and their perception of the information and the teachings based upon Hermeticism. So Hermeticism is a religion based on the thoughts and studies of the mystical figure Hermes Trismegistus. Now, Hermes Trismegistus bases back to the ancient times and is a combination of 2 different gods, deities of knowledge. One being Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, divine wisdom and knowledge, and Hermes, the Greek god and messenger. So Hermes wrote the Emerald Tablets, which is very ancient text describing the ways the universe works. Now, I am not a master of this knowledge. I'm not an expert. I've recently discovered this. However, I feel aligned with it and I understand it, and it makes sense. I Innerstand it. Overstand it, understand it, Innerstand it. So, the 7 Hermetic Principles are as follows. Number 1 is the principle of mentalism. Now, this principle states that the All is the mind. The All is characterized as the substantial reality underlying all manifestations that we know as the material world, the phenomena of life, the universe, matter, energy. So basically, my understanding is the All is everything that is perceived in an external sense. So this cabinet is matter. It's matter, it's energy. This wall is matter, it's energy. This t-shirt, matter, energy. So this is the All. Everything around that I can see is the All. Now, the principle of mentalism states that the All is mental. So, everything is mental. Everything is in the mind. The way the brain works is all of the senses are but electrical signals sent to my brain, and my brain processes these signals and the coding as a specific sense. For instance, light comes in through my eyes and my brain perceives that information and creates an image in the back of my brain. And that's how I perceive my sight. To hear anything, sound and vibrations comes into my ears, and guess what? It's processed in my brain. And my brain processes it as a sound. When I touch a hot stove, guess what? I touch the stove, a signal is sent through the nerves in my fingers to my brain. And my brain corresponds it to a sensation, which is of heat. And my brain sends a message saying, that's hot, do not touch that. So, everything external is being experienced internally and created internally. So, this is the principle of mentalism. It says, all the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all. The universe as a whole and in its parts or units has its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. Boop. It now says, this understanding enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of the mental universe and to apply the same to his well-being and advancement. So, there we go. With the master key in his possession, the student may unlock the many doors of the mental and psychic temple of knowledge. Now, what that refers to is the temple. The temple is right here. This is why we have temples on either side of our eyes. The temple is here. God is within. God is the consciousness, and this is the temple of light. So, he who understands these principles receives the key to open the temple, open all the doors of the temples, which means activate full consciousness of the brain. He who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mastery. So, that is the summary of the principle of mentalism. So, next is the principle of correspondence. Now, this is a very popular and common principle, and it has the very famous phrase, as above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. Now, this law or principle states that the microcosm is equal to the macrocosm. The macrocosm is equal to the microcosm. So, linking to the principle of mentalism, that the universe is mental, is experienced internally, this links to the principle of correspondence, because as above you see the galaxies, the universe, the all. Well, as above, so below. Our bodies are a microcosm of the macrocosm. On a cellular level, it keeps going further and further and further. If you zoom in with a microscope, our cells are mini universes. The universe is experienced within. As above, so below. We are not separate from the cosmos, from the universe. We are at one. As within, so without is very similar. I am the universe. You are the universe. as experiencing as the microcosm. Everything is connected, everything is linked together. It holds truth when we discuss that our thoughts and emotions often manifest in the physical plane. So, an example, if something knocks you out of alignment, you get angry or frustrated internally, what often happens is your external reality starts to mirror this. And so you often find that one thing after another is happening that's keeping you annoyed and frustrated and more negative experiences. And this is proving that the internal emotion is affecting the external. And at the same time, something in the external can trigger us and make us start to feel annoyed or frustrated or angry internally. So, as within, so without. Our emotions reside deep in our subconscious, shaping the thoughts that drive our actions. We can create a more prosperous external reality by learning to harness these emotions properly. This is what Hermetists know, is that yes, these laws apply for the negative, but also we can utilize them to apply to positive. So, the more I cultivate positive thoughts and emotions internally, the more my external reality will start to mirror this, because as within, so without. Cultivate the joy and peace within, as within, so without, that radiates into the physical reality, because everything is constantly relaying between each other, between the physical, between the internal and external. So, number three is the principle of vibration. Now, the quote from the Kybalion is, "Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates." This principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. This principle is describing the fact that everything around is merely a vibration, it's a frequency, it is energy vibrating at different rates. A rock or a stone is a much more dense vibration. It's vibrating at a much lower, more dense rate. Whereas light from the sunshine is also a vibration. However, it's at an extremely high rate. From the all, which is pure spirit, down to the grossest form of matter, all is in vibration. The vibration of spirit is at such a infinite rate of vibration that it is practically motionless, just like a spinning wheel. It states that everything is in a vibratory motion. This is also true on the planes of energy, force, spirit, mental, astral, and spiritual planes. So, to me, this gives proof that every form can be altered. For instance, if the physical realm is a matter of vibrations, varying rates of vibrations, and the mental realm is a matter of varying rates of vibrations, that means that they can change, they can be moved, they're not fixed, they are malleable. My brain functions through vibrations and has the ability to alter vibrations. So therefore, my brain can alter the vibrations of the mental realm or the astral realm, which can therefore affect changes in the physical realm, which is not so physical because everything is vibrating. Yeah. There we go. This enables Hermetic students to conquer and alter their own vibrations as well as that of others. It also applies to the conquering of natural phenomena. Peep that. Kybalion quotes, "He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power." Ooh. Every thought or mental state has its corresponding rate of vibration. One may polarize his mind at any degree he wishes, therefore giving him perfect control of his mind. It states here, one may change his mental vibrations by an effort of will in the direction of deliberately fixing the attention on a more desirable state. Will directs the attention, attention changes the vibration. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. That's some knowledge right there. Yeah. Now, as with all stuff, this is subjective work. It is not necessarily absolute truth. However, it is compiled over research through thousands of years of the most ancient texts and ancient wisdom, and it definitely holds a lot of truth. I can see it. I can feel it. I can see it. It holds a lot of truth and application. Number 4 is the principle of polarity. This is a principle that states that everything has its opposite poles. So you have hot and cold, light and dark, soft and hard, heavy and light, weak, strong. Now, to the average person, you'd think, oh, these are totally different. Well, the principle of polarity states that these are but varying rates of the same thing. For instance, hot and cold. They appear to be different, yet they are but varying degrees of the same thing. Temperature. There is no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold. They are but varying rates of vibration of the same thing, being temperature. Same as light and dark. Where does absolute light take off from absolute dark? They are but varying degrees of the same thing. The Kybalion states, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The same principle operates on the mental planes. For instance, between love and hate. Where does love start, take off? Love and hate, apparently two totally different states. Yet there's different degrees of love and different degrees of hate. And middle points of like and dislike, which so gradually shade into each other. So there's no absolute love and absolute hate. They're just varying degrees of the same thing, which is an emotion. And that gives a question, is it possible to change the vibrations of hate to vibrations of love? The answer is yes, absolutely. Everyone has experienced the involutionary process of where you're in a good mood and suddenly you start to feel angry or annoyed. And on the converse, you're feeling down and you switch it and suddenly feeling happy. So it's possible with the change of your vibration and polarizing your thoughts and your vibration to that of the opposite. So from hate to love. That is the goal. Good and evil are but poles of the same thing. And the Hermetist understands the art of polarizing evil into good. Okay. Woo. Yeah. Dropping the gems of knowledge right now. Number 5 is the principle of rhythm. Now, the quote here is, everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the left is the measure of the swing to the right. Rhythm compensates. The Kybalion. These teachings have compiled the knowledge that the universe functions in a state of rhythm. Think about the tide of the ocean, in and out, in and out. The tide doesn't just go in and stay there. It has to go in and out. The sun, it rises up and then descends down. Rises up, descends down. The sun doesn't rise and just stay there. No. It follows a law of rhythm. The universe follows a law of rhythm. This is what it's stating. The moon rises, descends, rises, descends. So, this is what Hermetists understand. And having an understanding of this, you can begin to learn how to flow with the universe and flow with the rhythm of the universe. That is the goal. There is always an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, an inflow and an outflow, a to and a fro, an ebb and a flow. This principle manifests in the creation and destruction of worlds, the rise and fall of empires, and finally, in the mental states of man. Hermetists find this part most important. Hermetists have discovered certain means to overcome its effects within themselves through the law of neutralization. This means that, for instance, if you have a really bad period of time, the pendulum will swing the other way. I mean, you're going to have a really good time, but then that pendulum will swing back and it will keep a cycle repeating. So Hermetists use the art of neutralization, which is to neutralize your extreme spikes of emotion and negative feelings to a more neutral position, to where the swing of the pendulum will be much less volatile. They discovered there are two general planes of consciousness, the lower and the higher. And by raising themselves to the higher planes of consciousness, they can rise above the swing of the pendulum that swings in the lower state of consciousness. They discovered there are two general planes of consciousness, the lower and the higher, the understanding of which enables them to rise to the higher plane of consciousness and thus escape the rhythmic swing of the pendulum on the lower plane of consciousness. So the masters of Hermetic Principles are able to lessen the effects of negative emotions and pain by changing their point of awareness. Okay. It says here, it is akin to rising above a thing and letting it pass beneath you. The Hermetic master or advanced student polarizes himself at the desired pole by a process akin to refusing to participate in the backward swing, or if you prefer, a denial of its influence over him. He stands firm in a polarized position and allows the mental pendulum to swing back along the unconscious plane. Rising above a thing is done by mentally viewing it from a different perspective. When you use mindfulness and change to observer mode, you can detach from negative emotions. Alright. Number 6 is the principle of cause and effect. So, the Hermetists understand that every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. Nothing in this universe happens by chance. Everything that happens has had something cause it. So, if you're feeling a certain low vibration or low emotion, well then that means that something has caused that. Something has caused that. So, essentially you can reverse engineer. Why do I feel this way? Well, something that previously happened has caused this. So maybe it's some subconscious trauma or subconscious pain or programming buried deep within that has caused you to now have a repeating program of negative emotions or lack. This is what the cause and effect, principle of cause and effect is stating. Hermetists understand the art of rising above the ordinary effects, the ordinary plane of cause and effect. By mentally rising to a higher plane, they become causes instead of effects. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to the environment and to those who have a will stronger than theirs. They don't understand the principles and laws of the universe at play. They think that everything is just happening to them. They are victim mindsets. Everything is happening to them. They are being moved around like pawns on a chessboard. Whereas the Hermetists are able to rise above to a higher state of consciousness and be the ones controlling the pawns, or making the moves, making the decisions with an understanding of this principle. Finally, number 7, número 7, is the principle of gender. Now, this is an interesting principle. So, the principle of gender states, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes, the Kybalion. On the physical plane, this principle manifests as sex. On the higher planes, it manifests as something in much higher forms. No creation, physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle. So, if you think about it, every single person who exists, who is conceived naturally, we are created through a man and a woman having sex, conception, the combination of masculine and feminine DNA. The child that is conceived and born is created through his father's DNA combined with his mother's DNA. So, the child, whether it's male or female, has a combination of masculine, male and feminine DNA. So, this is what the Hermetists are saying. It's like, even if you're a man, you were conceived through the DNA of a man and a woman. You have male and female DNA. Even if you're a woman, you were conceived by a man and a woman, so you have male and female DNA. Of course, biologically, as a man, I have male biology. Biologically, as a female has female biology. But we all have elements of masculine and feminine principles. This comes into the truth that our brain is split into two hemispheres, the left and right hemisphere. The left hemisphere of my brain is the masculine side. That it deals with conscious thinking, logic, activity, Whereas the right hemisphere of my brain is the feminine side. And that deals with the subconscious, creativity. And most of us, we only have one side of our brain active. So we're using 50% of our brain. Now, the power of this principle is to be able to activate and unite the conscious and the subconscious mind, the masculine and the feminine principles of the mind, enables us to activate 100% of our brain, which is Christ consciousness. To use the masculine logic and action and power with the feminine subconscious creation, planning, this unlocks mental superpowers of 100% of the brain to create at my fullest potential. So, that is what they're talking about with the principle agenda. Yes, so this is my take on the 7 Hermetic Principles, and I find it very interesting. It's very powerful knowledge, and it all has to be taken with a subjective pinch of salt. However, this information I find to be very resonant and powerful and divine. If you open your mind, you will feel and see this knowledge to have truth. And one can use and leverage this power for good purposes to create. This shows the laws of creation, of universes, of man, of nature, of all things, of all planes of existence, physical, mental, spiritual, astral. It's very powerful, very profound. And yeah, I just want to share this with people to help spark that divine consciousness within and help provide and share this powerful knowledge to people with good intentions. And yeah, I'm just interested in speaking about this and sharing my knowledge on these sort of topics. I'm still learning, I'm still relatively new to this particular information. However, I'm very interested in speaking on these truths and these topics and spreading the consciousness and the knowledge that the all is mental. This all is a holographic simulation produced in the mind. This is the truth. And once I wake up to this, I know I can consciously create, be a co-creator in this universe. And this is what these principles really show and help and prove. Yeah, I hope to just spread good energy, love and light and assist in the divine collective awakening and consciousness and spark of light workers. I'm aligned with my light working gifts and purpose and mission to spread love and light and abundance. And I hope to inspire and uplift you and to help you get on track with your light work, your divine truths and knowledge. So thank you very much. Peace, love, light, blessings, health, wealth, good energy, divine love and light to all. Thank you.